Hello everyone, this is Free Name on YouTube. Quite a while ago I made a video that's been quite popular on how to unjam this Dymo LabelWriter 450. There were quite a few comments and complaints that you couldn't see really what was going on in the video. This has been fine for years now, and it's finally jammed up again, so I now have the opportunity to film this again somewhere where I can set up a proper camera and record this properly. So I'll show you what happens at the moment if I turn this on. It's very unhappy, as you can tell from the sound, and the label doesn't go anywhere. So what has happened is the same as last time, which is the labels get stuck around the roller. Not sure what triggers it, probably somebody putting this in and one of the labels doesn't have the backing on it or something. It starts wrapping around it and then never ever recovers. The first bit is super easy. You take this black plastic cover and lift it upwards, it pops open, which then means you can take this whole front black plastic section and hinge it downwards and towards you. That will unclip these clips that are at the bottom, and this whole bit comes off. What we can now see here is the roller. Let me take these out. No, that's very much stuck in there. I do want to detach this though. So you can see the labels here are stuck around the roller. What I did last time was take out this bit here, which gives you more access to the roller. So this was one of the biggest complaints, was people couldn't see how I was detaching this. So this is just held in by two plastic tabs here. So if I push one of these sides, that has lifted that tab out from where it, or the lug out from where it sits, and then the other side just comes off. So you've got the tag or whatever here that goes into the hole that is there, and then the same on the other side. So putting this back in is equally easy. You line that up, that side's already in, and then you get again a screwdriver, push that in, and that's now reattached it. So that was generally the biggest query I had on that video, was how you remove and reattach that. Right, you may be tempted to use a scalpel or a sharp blade to go along here, which you could do if you're confident that you're not going to cut the roller below. I quite like using scissors because they are dull enough that they will mark this, but they're not going to cause a massive gouge or cut along the roller. So, as with the last video, it is just a case of running the the scissors over the labels, and I don't know whether you can see that, but they are coming apart in the middle. So you can see I've now undone a huge number of those. I think we may even be towards the bottom of it, so this bit I can now get the screwdriver underneath, and we can actually now see the rest of that roller, which means we're pretty close to hopefully being able to get these out. And then, as with last time, it's just a lot of brute force once you've made it so you can see the edge of the labels, to roll these labels through the rest of the printer. There's chunk of the labels. More of them, and there we go. I think that's probably the lot. Let's see if I release that, whether, yeah, that's now running through there smoothly. There was what looks like a tiny bit more that was stuck in there that I've just pushed through with this label, but we should be good now to put this all back together. So, back to this thing, which, if you've, like I have, lost the orientation of it, this little notch here goes over this sensor here, so that means it goes this way round. That lines up there, and then there's one on the other side. We should gently be able to push back into its little securing hole there. So that's good. Now, this bit can be a bit tricky. I found that as long as you know it's lined up correctly, then brute force works pretty well on this one. So I'm going to line that up so it's lined up at the top here, and also lined up at the sides centrally, and then I'm just going to push quite hard. And there we go, that is now fully secured along this bit here, and has also dropped down these two little catches here, secure as well. I'm now confident that I can turn this back on. There we go. That is how, or my second video on how you unjam a Dymo LabelWriter 450. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you. If it has, it would be really helpful to me if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my YouTube channel. You don't need to have the video notifications switched on, but the subscriber numbers do really help. So thank you very much.